Hey there, kids. Let's take a look at this problem right here. It says to simplify these fractions, okay? Well, let's talk about something else first. We need to talk first about equivalent fractions, and the easiest equivalent fraction to work with is 1/2, okay? 1/2. Now, we know that 1/2 is the same thing as 2/4, okay? If I had 4 donuts and I gave you half, I'd give you 2 and I'd keep 2, right? Okay, well, we can keep going. Okay, we can find lots of things. As a matter of fact, we can find an endless number of things that are equal to 1/2. Now, a way that you can do this right here is you can make equivalent fractions by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by the same thing. So in this case right here, I went 1 times 2, that equaled 2, and 2 times 2, that equaled 4. Now I can do it again. I can keep doing by 2's or any other number. It doesn't really matter, okay? And if I did it again, we'll just stick with 2's to keep things simple, okay? And if I did this by 2 right here, okay, whoops, I should have drawn it below, shouldn't I? Okay, 2 times 2 would be 4, and 4 times 2 would be 8. Okay, I'd get 4/8. If I had 8 donuts and I gave you half, I'd give you 4, and I'd keep 4. So 1/2 is the same thing as 2/4. It's the same thing as 4/8, and we'll do it one more time right here. You could multiply by any number. It doesn't have to be 2's, okay? But people like 2's. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16, okay? And 8/16 is the same thing as 1/2 also, because 8 is half of 16. You get it? Now, this right here is called making equivalent fractions. 1/2 is the exact same thing as 2/4. It's the exact same thing as 4/8. It's the exact same thing as 8/16. All these fractions up here equal 1/2. But this one right here is in the simplest form. It's easiest for you to remember 1/2 instead of 8/16. Okay, this takes a little bit of brain power. This one right here you can easily imagine. And so because this one is all the way to the left, we say that it's in the lowest terms, or we say that it's been reduced, or it's been simplified. This is the simplest way to do this right here, okay? And so you simplify it. Now, if you have a big fraction, something bigger, you can always go backwards and divide instead of multiplying. So for example, I could go 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 16 divided by 2, that's 8. And I would have simplified it, okay, going backwards. Now, I didn't simplify it all the way because I could still divide this direction again. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And I would have simplified it again. I want to go backwards again, and I want to divide again. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. And there's no way I could make this one any smaller, so we say that it's in simplest form, okay, or it's been reduced. Now, I could have just taken one big jump right here. I could have just went 8 divided by 8, that equals 1, and 16 divided by 8, that equals 2. Okay, and I could have just divided them both by 8 to simplify them. But in general, people, when you see these things, you're usually dividing by 2's or 3's or sometimes 5's or something like that. So we have this fraction right here, and it says 4/6. We want to divide, okay, the 4 and the 6 by something. Okay, can you see a number that we can divide by 4 by and also 6 by? Okay, now I could do this to the left this way, or I could do it to the right. It doesn't make any difference. I'm going to go to the right. Okay, 4 divided by something to make it smaller, and 6 divided by something to make it smaller. Now it has to be the same number. Whatever you divide by up here, you have to divide by down here. Okay, these two have got to be the same. I could try 4 divided by 4. That would give me 1. But I couldn't do 6 divided by 4 because I'd have a remainder. Okay? But what if I divided both of these by 2? Okay? 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So that works. And we can see right here that 4/6 equals 2/3. Now we have a little trick right here that we can use to check this. And some teachers don't like to show this, but I'm going to show you anyway. Okay. If we do something called cross multiplication, we can check to see if these two fractions are actually the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply from the bottom up going this way. What's 6 times 2? 6 times 2 is 12. And what's 3 times 4? 3 times 4 is 12. And if both these numbers right here match, then we have equivalent fractions. Now I could have come down here and I could have done that with like let's say 2/4 and 4/8. Let's do that. 2/4 and 4/8. Let's see if these are equivalent fractions. Okay, let's do the cross multiplication method. 4 times 4 is what? 16, right? And what's 8 times 2? That's 16. Okay, and we can see that these are both equivalent fractions. Okay, now you could have also went 2 times 2 is 4 and 4 times 2 is 8, and as long as these two numbers are the same, then you also have equivalent fractions. Okay, well either way, you want to simplify these. Don't make these bigger. You want to make this fraction as small as you can so it's still equivalent to 6/10, and you want to make this fraction as small as you can as long as it's equivalent to 6/8. Okay, you can do the same thing that I did over here. Kids, go ahead and give it a try. If you need help, come and see us. We will help you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.